So let's talk about preparing your fabric. This is a step that I think often people skip, and it really will help you prepare your fabric for cutting. And you're going to find that your strips are cut much straighter when you take the time to do this. Also, your fabric is going to press out better. So the first thing I like to do is whenever I have a quilt pattern that requires more than 3 yards of fabric of background, I like to split it in half. Now, I will say that I probably buy an extra 1/8 yard because I know I'm going to be putting it into 2 pieces. So this pattern calls for 4.5, so you may want to get 3 7/8 of it. Some people just round up to 4. Let's be honest, we're quilters. The more fabric we have, the better we like it. But I've already ripped half of it off in a 2 yard increment and went ahead and pressed it and then rolled it onto my ruler. So I'm going to show you how to do that with this other half. So the first thing that you'll notice is that I have one side that's ripped when I remove the other half, and I like to go ahead and rip the other side. And the reason for that is when you nip and rip, you're going to get the straight of grain, which is going to help you when you want to really fold this fabric properly. So the first thing that I do is I take a look at it to see how crooked it is coming from the bolt. Now this truly came off the very end of the bolt. So to be fair, this was not how it was cut coming off from a quilt shop. All right, but I can see that it kind of has some peaks and valleys. I'm going to go ahead and take my scissors, and because of how much this has different, I am going to go in about 1 inch. You may find you only need to do potentially about 1/2 inch on yours. You want to really evaluate it. All right, so now the fun happens. And so many people are afraid of this. My big tip is don't hesitate. All right, just go right on through. So you just tear, tear, and tear. All right, so you can see here how much it was off. Again, to be fair, this was the end of the bolt. I'll do a little Eleanor Burns there to get that off camera. And then you're going to open it up. And the reason for that is when the machinery that they used to put this on the bolt did not fold this exact. So that fold line may not truly be the center. You can also see how badly this is wrinkled from just being, at the end of that bolt. So what I like to do is I'm going to press it completely flat first, and then I will fold it using that straight of grain. So here's where it comes into play to use the Faultless Magic. It's the quilting and fabric spray. I like the aerosol for this part. By all means, you could use the pump with the mister. All their products work terrific. I just find that this is fabulous for that first step. And it's a starch alternative, so it really works well. It gets the wrinkles out, but it doesn't leave behind that residual that sometimes cause you trouble, sometimes with pests and such. They're drawn to the starch. So this is a alternative starch, and it just works terrific. It allows you to close it and then open it up when you're going to use it. And it just really creates a nice fine mist. So when I'm starting off, I'm giving it a really nice spray. And then I'm going to use my Rowenta iron that has that steam on demand. And I'm going to give it a little bit, maybe a lot, of steam. Right, so you can determine just by pushing the little button here how much steam you want to give it. That had a lot of wrinkles, but you can see between the magic spray and the Rowenta steam, it has knocked it right out. The one thing you definitely want to make sure that you do is you always want to keep pressing it until it's dry. You don't want your fabric left wet, whether or not it be from your starch alternative or your steam. All right, so I'm just going to go through the length of this. Just treating it, giving a little more steam where I have more stubborn wrinkles. And you can see they kind of just fall right out. And we use this fabric from Free Spirit, which has these cute little bunnies. It's a Tula Pink pattern. All right, as I'm coming here to the end, I'm just going to make sure I get all the way. And then I'm going to actually turn it around so that I can get the other side. And also with the ironing board I'm using, I have a couple little sections that I didn't hit in this section. So I want to make sure that I'm working that out. All right, I just have a little more here by that ripped edge. And if you wanted to, you might have a few little threads hanging here. You can just always clean those up. Sometimes you can just pull them right through. There we go. Didn't need the scissors. All right. I'm just going to give that raw edge a nice iron there. A lot of people say when they rip the fabric that their edge gets a little wonky, but really it just needs a nice press. All right, so now I'm going to turn it around and get this side. If you have a bigger ironing board, you could definitely, possibly take care of this all in one shot. The big board works really well. If you have a handy husband, a lot of times you can find how to make those online, or you're handy yourself. All right. So now I'm just going through the other side, and I'm just going to be mindful of where possibly I didn't get that other middle section there. Looks good. There we go. All right, we're coming to the end here of this Ghost Bunny. That's the name of this from Free Spirit that we used in the kit. It is just adorable. All right, and so we're going to make sure we give this end a nice press. All right, and then I just check for loose threads. Let's see if we're getting as lucky. Yes. Okay. So now what we're going to do is you're going to fold it in half, because that's the way we're going to want to cut our fabric, right? We have our width of fabric here, and we want to give it the true fold so that we're cutting straight strips when we cut it folded. So first I'm just going to kind of fold it and give it a little bit, right? Just make sure it's completely folded in half as I work it and then lay it out to be exact, all right? So I got to fold it in half. I'm going to lay it on my ironing board, and you can see I'm going to line it up so that both edges are lined up and it's nice and straight. I'm going to check that edge as well as the folded edge and make sure that it's nice and square and it looks fabulous. So sometimes if you're using batiks, you will see that it doesn't line up as well. And that's typically because of the process that they use to dye the fabric in batiks. They sometimes stretch it with how they knot it and different ways that they dye it. But, all right, and then if you have an ironing board like I do, you might want to try and keep it as far left as you can to make sure that you're ironing it nice and square. And you just want to keep honoring that fold there. And I do give it a little steam to make sure I'm setting in that fold. You will have to iron it out when you open those strips to do your subcutting, but this way it stays nice and straight while you are doing your strip cutting, which is really key. You want to make sure you're always cutting your strips straight. And a lot of times when you're coming through here, you don't need to reapply your Faultless Magic Spray because the steam will reactivate that. And that's just this tank filling up, bringing more into the hose. makes the fabric so nice. Kind of just pet it so that you're getting it nice and straight. And again, you're just pressing until you're sure it is dry, which the heat will do. All right, pretty good. You can see here, it lined up really nicely with the other torn. If you're off like a 1/16 of an inch or anything, I wouldn't stress about it. I would look into it if it's off more than that, because apparently I didn't fold it properly. All right. Once you have this done, this is one of my tricks that everybody says, oh, that's an aha moment, is you can go ahead and use your ruler to roll your fabric so it stays nice and flat. So what I like to do is I set it up, and I usually just bring it over the top here, and I line it up usually with like my first line on the ruler, and that way I can start and make sure I'm keeping it nice and straight. And then I'm just going to roll it, making sure that I'm keeping it nice and straight. This allows you, as you are cutting the fabric, to have it in a manageable fold on your table so it's not taking up too much room, but it's also keeping it nice and flat. So a lot of folks collect empty bolts from quilt shops. You can do that. I find the ruler works great. And then I'm going to be able to pull the ruler right out. All right, so then when I get here, I have that nice and done. And then all I need to do is pull the ruler out, and it can go back to work as a ruler. Yet my fabric is stored nice and easily. So that's how I handle my background. I find that it works terrific. They're ready to go when I'm ready to cut, and they've already been pre-treated with the Faultless Magic Spray. So as I'm working them for the first early steps, they're already nice and flat. I don't have to worry that they're carrying over a wrinkle that came from the bolt. So with that, I want to move on to the fat quarters and show you how I press those. So next, I'm going to take you through my fat quarter prep, and specifically the fat quarter prep for this particular pattern. So if you're like me and you're using fat quarters, you know, I definitely have a problem with fat quarters. I find the packs, I love them, I buy them. Sometimes I buy multiples. And I often do that when the fat quarter pack is only a 10 pack, because I know myself and I'm going to make a usable size quilt, and I'm going to need more than 10 fat quarters. So I often buy 2 of the same fat quarter pack when they're in that 8-10 mode. So this pattern specifically uses 2 sets of 10 fat quarters. Alternatively, you could use 10 fat half yards. All right, so if you're using half yards, you're going to want to go ahead and prepare them similar to the yardage that I showed you for the background, and then you're going to want to cut across the top so that you end up with 2 matching fat quarters. But I would do that after you press, and I'll show you why as I walk through how I'm going to prepare these. So no matter what pattern I'm doing, if I'm using fat quarters, I'm always going to press them flat to begin with. However, in this case, because I'm using 2 sets of fat quarters, I am going to marry back my fat quarters with their like fabric. All right, because I'm actually going to press these as if they were pretty much half yards that has the top cut. All right, so we got, you see here. I mean, you could really go completely scrappy and go with 20 different fat quarters and cut half of everything you're supposed to. All right. So let's start off with this set. So what I'm going to do is I'm opening both of them. Easier said than done, right? And so I want the raw edge and the salvage to be matched up. So I usually start with the raw edge, because that's the end, right, of the fabric. And if it was a half yard, this is the sides that you would be matching anyhow. All right, so I'm going to put them right on top of each other. And you could go ahead and give your magic spray on the bottom one and then lay the top one. So if I was only using one of this fat quarter of this fabric, I would go ahead and press this. But since I'm using two that I'm trying to marry, I'm going to go ahead and put that on top and go ahead and give it some more of the Faultless magic. And now I'm going to press them using the raw edge and making sure those are lined up, because that's going to allow me to get my strips nice and lined up. All right, and then I'm going to just pull it forward, making sure I'm going as close as possible to lining them up with the cut. They should be close, but again, these came from two different fat quarter packs, so there's a possibility that one might have been cut slightly different than the other. All right, and then I am going to flip it over because that bottom one, I want to make sure that it has been pressed flat as well as dry, because remember I used some magic spray on it. All right, and then I just move it up and I just go ahead and press it. All right, and so I'm going to do that with each of my fabrics. So you have 10, that's what this pattern calls for, 10 double sets of fat quarters, so 20 in all, but I'm going to pair them up into 10 partners. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this to the next 9 exactly as I did the first one, getting them all pressed and ready for cutting for us for our next episode next week. All right, so there you have your homework. You need to, 1, procure your fabric. Remember, you can get this fabulous kit on our AQS online shop at AmericanQuilter.com. Go to shop and check out the kit. It comes with the 4.5 yard of the background and then 2 sets of 10 packs of the fat quarters, and it's the Free Spirit Bloom. It is adorable. But what you have to do before episode 2 is prepare that fabric. So 1, get your fabric, and then 2, go ahead and prep your background as well as your fat quarters. I think you will see it's worth the time later. It'll be so much easier to have it wrinkle free and ready for cutting. So stay tuned for episode 2, where we cut all of our fabric for our Honey V Revival pattern.